Hi there, my name is Hannah G, and you're joining me on a channel in which I document all of my creative adventures. Today's creative adventure is Tour de Fleece 2026. And if you are not familiar with Tour de Fleece, you may be familiar with Tour de France. Now, Tour de Fleece is a same timeline event, same timeline as the Tour de France, but instead of riding bikes, the people who participate in Tour de Fleece are spinners who make yarn. So they, instead of spinning bike wheels, are spinning their spinning wheels or their spindles to create yarn. Now, this is my second year participating in Tour de Fleece. I only started spinning yarn in January 2025. So this last summer was the first time I participated in Tour de Fleece. This is the second round, and I really wanted to document my experience. A lot of spinners take Tour de Fleece as a competition, similar to Tour de France, in which they are really trying to maximize the amount of yarn that they spin, the weight of the fiber and the length of the yarn. For me, this year life work kind of got in the way of that. And so instead of focusing on the amounts, I really tried to focus on experiencing different breeds. And so in today's vlog, I'm going to bring you along with me as I experience spinning some alpaca, baby camel, Swaledale, which is a breed of sheep, and there's a little bit of merino, but primarily focusing on the first three breeds. So take your snack, your creative project you're working on, whatever it is, and join me on this creative journey. All right, it is Thursday, July 2nd. I'm finally getting around to preparing my setup for Tour de Fleece. So I am setting up first my e-spinner. My spindles. Need to weigh out all my alpaca. My 4 acres alpacas, roving from the alpaca named Love. Okay, so I've got 4 25-gram balls and then 16 grams here. I'm going to set that one aside for now. And now it's time for this beautiful white alpaca, which is supposed to be 2 ounces. And it's from Alpaca Brat's Farm. This is not white, it's very nice oatmeal. I would call this oatmeal color. 6. Wondering if I should blend these together on my blending board. Maybe that's what I'll do now. Have a variegated bit. So it is 4th of July. Tour de Fleece has started. It is currently 9:24 p.m. and I'm just sitting down to spin a little bit because it's been a packed day. We were out camping in New Hampshire with my husband and son, and we had 4th of July celebrations at friends. So now that my son's asleep, I get a moment. And I thought I would also show you, while we were in New Hampshire, I stopped at a yarn shop and got some fiber. And so now I have a new plan. On my spindle, I'm going to be working through a breed discovery pack, which features 23 micron merino, 18.5 micron merino, the face luster, Jacob, Herdwick, Devon, Shetland, and what I'm going to start out with, Swaledale. So I'm really looking forward to spinning these. These are all going to be, because they're such small amounts, they're all going to be spindle spun. And then the alpaca will still be the main e-spinner, spinning wheel spin. So tonight I'm going to spin these. It is July 5th, day 2 of Tour de Fleece, and I am continuing to spin. Oh my gosh, there's an ant here in front of the camera. Okay, lovely. I'm continuing to spin this Swaledale. Didn't get that much in last night because it was late after getting my son to bed, but I read the package. So this is 35 to 45 micron and fiber length of 100 to 200 millimeters. So this, and it's very different from anything I've ever spun. And there it goes. There goes the drop spindle. Dropping to the floor. And so I always like to do a little bit of research on my fibers. So I was researching last night a little bit more about Swaledale, and they're a really cute sheep. I will include some images here on the side. They're apparently great mothers. They're great at dealing with harsh conditions for raising their lambs. But yeah, they're not very well regarded for their wool. It's coarse, often used in rug weaving. They're mostly used for their meat. They're from the UK. And yeah, I always enjoy learning a little bit more about the sheep. And I understand why this is not the most prized wool on the market, right? I can feel the coarseness as I'm spinning it. It is quite coarse. I can see how this might make nice like house slippers maybe. They might wear well. But yeah, I would not knit a scarf out of this, for instance. I would not knit a super close next to skin piece. But I am trying to make a breed study sweater. And so I think just having, because there's not a lot of it, just having little pops of white, and it's probably going to be a cardigan or something like that, not necessarily a sweater. We'll see exactly how it's going to pan out once I have all the wool spun, but I think this little amount could be fine, and just little touches of white accents here and there. Because again, I'm thinking it'll be like a cardigan or something. I would not put this anywhere near the neck or the sleeve ends. But if it's in the body as an accent, I think it's fine. So we'll see. But day 2, I'm just gonna spin as much as I can while my husband puts our son to sleep before bedtime. So I finally got a few minutes to sit down and start spinning the alpaca on the wheel. I haven't touched this alpaca in a very long time. I've already spun one skein of yarn, but this was months and months ago. And so coming back to it and having it go through my hands, I'm really readjusting my wheel and trying to remember how it wants to be spun, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. I keep losing consistency, but that's okay. I'll just apply. I'm okay with having not perfectly consistent yarn. Oh, dang it. There we go. And remembering these there's like little balls of VM that I keep picking out of it. Let's see if I can show you. There's these like, I don't know if you can see on my finger here, these little balls, and some of them are just falling out as I spin, but other ones I keep having to pluck out, especially if they're big, but I'm trying not to be too obsessive about it. It almost reminds me of like dandruff. I wonder, do alpacas get dandruff? But it'll be interesting to see what I land on. I really should take notes. So what I'm gonna do is spin up this 25 gram ball on here, spin up a second 25 gram ball, ply them together, and then I'll swap and spin the light colored alpaca and ply that together so that I have them side by side to compare, and then I'll go back to this brown alpaca. Oh, and before I forget, one thing I wanted to show, here we go, they're picking out some. Yeah. One thing I wanted to show, in addition to that haul of breed study little packs of wool for spinning, while I was in New Hampshire, and by the way, I was in Peterborough, New Hampshire, in the Mount Monadnock region. In Peterborough, the yarn shop, Nitty Gritty Yarn Shop, they sell that the wool breed pack, or they did, while I was there July 3rd. And then next door to them, well, almost next door, on the same plaza, there is a cafe and bookstore, and in the bookstore they have a used book section, and in that section I found a bunch of yarn, knitting, crocheting, felting, whatever, knitting primarily books, and I found this as well. Rowan Miniature Classic, super cute. It has really cute ideas for not just adorable kid and baby clothes, but they also have cute little toys in there. I have the, here we go. Yeah, you can see the spread here of different kinds of things in this magazine. So I could not resist picking this up for $7.50 and having this to look through for projects for my son. So if you're ever in Peterborough and you're looking for some used knitting, magazine, book, crocheting, felting, whatever material, you should absolutely check out the Toadstool Cafe and Bookstore. It's Wednesday, July 8th, and I've finally finished spinning 50 grams of alpaca, 25 grams on each of them. Here. And I am about to start plying. So I'm very excited to try this next alpaca and compare it. It's also prepped a little bit differently. So this one's like a pin roving. The other one is kind of thicker and fluffier. And so we'll see how drafting that and spinning it feels after I am done plying this together and then measuring out how much I actually got. So I measured out how much I actually got out of 50 grams of alpaca by using my Swift. I have a Amish style Swift, and I actually have measurements here. So I know that one rotation of this is 72 inches. You probably can't see, but it has markings here. 72 inches, which is 2 yards. And so I count the rotations at the 2 yard mark, and then just multiply by 2 to have the total number of yards. So for 50 grams, I got 87 yards. And so if I calculate, that is 87 divided by 50 is 1.74 yards per gram. Bring you a little closer, you can maybe see the yarn itself. Nice and floofy. It's beautiful. I'm very happy with it, and I'm gonna add it to my alpaca stash for my alpaca sweater. I've decided to just go for it. I have a little bit of time. I'm starting off this next alpaca. So this one is from Alpaca Brat Farm here. And it's also roving, but totally differently prepped than the prior alpaca. And I'm very curious to feel how this goes through my hands, because the previous one left so much residue. It felt very oily, sticky, dirty. I'm not sure what it was, but we'll see. So I have the same setting right now on my wheel as I used for the last one. Let's see if it sticks. Okay, so right off the bat, I can say that this one drafts so much more easily than the previous one, and I don't really feel that sticky, grimy feeling on my fingers like I did with the previous one. So I don't know if it's just they took more time to wash it or ran it through more scoured. I don't know, but holy cow, this is much easier to spin than that previous alpaca, and so much softer and fluffier. So I'm very curious to see how these compare as yarns. Now, to be fair, I have not yet washed the other yarn, so I have no idea how it'll feel after a good soak and wash and thwack. I've actually never done that with any yarns. Tell me, are you also a spinner who has never washed, thwacked yarns that you've hand spun before? Do you just wait until you, after knitting, to wash and block and see how it comes out? Or do you religiously wash your hand spuns? Very curious to know, because I have not done that yet. A little bit of VM here, pick out, but not too bad. I spoke too soon. This is 5 minutes, 5 minutes of spinning this alpaca and my fingers looked like this. Mind you, I went, washed my hands, scrubbed them hard, made sure they were clean, then came back and spun for 5 minutes, and this is what my fingers look like. So this alpaca is not much cleaner than the previous one. I guess all alpacas are pretty dirty, but this one is spinning so much faster than the other one. I am just flying through this so far. So I think it's the prep. I think the pin drafting, maybe that one was also dirtier. Not sure, but this is pretty dirty, I would say. I also had to show this. This is after 15 minutes of spinning, how much VM and just little hairs have fallen onto my black leggings. This is the amount I actually picked out while spinning. Yeah. We are at the last day of the first week of Tour de Fleece, and at this point, I'll turn that on if I actually want to spin. At this point, the only completed spin is the 50-gram skein of brown alpaca, and I think by the end of today I'll be done at least with this 25-gram bit of the oatmeal alpaca. And the Swaledale, oh man, that is a very rustic wool. I am glad I experienced it. I don't think I will ever get Swaledale again, but I'm almost done with that one at least. I'm learning that alpacas are very, very dirty. And so I think after these, I'm going to take a long break from alpacas until I knit up that alpaca sweater and see how I actually like my own hand-spun alpaca. Because I went through this huge alpaca craze last year, absolutely loved it, bought tons of it, so soft, love it. But I always forget that over time, alpaca really stretches. And so basically every project I've worked on that has had alpaca yarn in it has stretched out over time. And so I'm going to get elastic threads for ribbing to ensure at least that the ribbing stays tight when I work on the alpaca sweater. But I do want to see how a hand-spun alpaca actually wears compared to a store-bought alpaca yarn. And it's yet another day of a lap full of VM. Just wanted to show this really beautiful little lock here. Most of this alpaca has been well carded, but every once in a while you get a little crimpy lock like this in here, and it's so pretty. Look at that. I got a little impatient with the Swaledale and decided instead of working on the alpaca during the day while I have access to my e-spinner, that I would just finish this Swaledale up because I'm done with it. I don't want to keep spinning it. So this is it. This is my breed sample pack Swaledale single. It's time for me to ply it, and I'm gonna make a plying bracelet and 2-ply it back onto this same spindle. Now I'm also wondering just how much I'm going to enjoy this plying bracelet on my hand, because I did not enjoy the feeling of the Swaledale in general while spinning it, and now having this extremely rustic, basically twine-like single wrapped around my hand, it's already itchy, very itchy. Okay, can you see just how much of the wool is coming out? And I think they're like these are guard hairs, it's like the black bits, and these shorter, really tough bits that are sticking out. Like it truly feels like I have like a twine. This is a twine that I'm wrapping around my hand right now to ply up, like a rough garden twine that you would use to tie beans up or something. It is Monday, July 13th, and I have officially finished spinning all 50 grams of the oatmeal colored alpaca that I've set aside. I have my 2 bobbins of singles, and now it's time to ply. Oh man, I'm excited. Once I'm done plying this, the plan is to take that blended alpaca. So I took the little bit of remains of the white or oatmeal color and the remains of the chocolatey color and kind of made this mottled blend. So I'm very curious to see the variegation that comes out of it. Maybe it'll go into the sweater as like a neck or hem or sleeve detail. We'll see, but I'm very excited to spin that next. So now it's on to plying time. So I finished plying the oatmeal alpaca, and this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I was within about 2 feet difference in length between the two 25-gram singles that I spun. I have never been this close before spinning, so I'm gonna take this as a sign that my spinning is getting better and getting more consistent, that when I set out a goal for a certain weight, it's getting better. I'm just gonna make an assumption that I'm getting better. I just finished counting up how many yards I actually have here, and I have got 98.5 yards in 50 grams of alpaca, which means I have 1.97 yards per gram. That, compared with what I had before, let me go grab that skein. For the brown alpaca that I spun beginning, it's the 8th of July. Today is the 13th. The brown alpaca I have at 1.74 yards per gram. So I have 1.74, this one is 1.97, and then the very first time I spun this alpaca a year ago, on July 28th, 2025, I had 2.35 yards per gram. I mean, some are a little thinner, some are a little thicker, but they're in the same range, and just kind of putting them side by side, they're going to be totally fine knit up together in a sweater. So I'm not perfect. I am a new spinner. I only started last year. I only had this e-spinner for about a year. I'm getting better with each day, as my 2 feet difference between my singles I think implies. So I'm very happy with the fact that these are all in a similar ballpark, and I think I'm going to go for a slightly looser knit, or maybe what I'll do is I'll take the thickest of the yarns and knit the swatch out of that, so that the rest of them are a little bit looser, and that way the sweater will be like decently drapey with the alpaca, and maybe it'll floof out and will look nice and uniform anyways. Also, I just need to show my little bit of Swaledale that I finished spinning on Friday, and then finished plying Friday evening. I wanted to start the second week of Tour de Fleece with a fresh slate after spinning this really rough wool yarn. So as you can see, I have finished spinning my variegated single from the 2 alpacas that I put through my bending board and tried to quote-unquote blend together as best as I could through a couple of passes. But as you can see, it's not perfectly blended. It's not like what you would get by running it through a carder, drum carder for instance, multiple times, but this nice variegated single. And now I need to ply it. Well, today is Wednesday, July 15th, and instead of plying, I am spending way too much time trying to untangle this mess of my single that I made. I tried to make a center pull ball instead of a plying bracelet because I'm tired of my fingers losing circulation, and the alpaca just stuck to itself and got all tangled and gross. So I am now sitting and trying to figure out this mess. I have persevered. I sat through and I punished myself, and I said, since I got myself in this mess, I am going to take the time to carefully unravel. Now, did these singles break multiple times in this process? Yes. Did I spit splice them back together? Yes. We'll see how terrible that is when it comes to plying, but at the very least, I now have rewound the single on these bamboo sticks. Today is Thursday, July 16th, and as you can see, my yesterday's issue of untangling my alpaca onto a single stick has turned into 2 separate sticks of alpaca cotton candy, and today I'm going to ply the alpaca on my e-spitter. I have finished counting how many yards I spun up in making this cute little skein, of the 2 alpacas that I blended together on my blending boards and then spun up as singles and 2 plied after the fiasco of getting my single all tangled up. And you can see it's not consistent in where, how the colors landed and how much of each color there is. So there are sections that are just brown, there are sections that are a bit better blended, there are sections that are barber poling, sections that are just oatmeal. So it'll be really interesting to see how the color plays out when it's actually knitted. But this one is coming in at 51 yards in the 23 grams, which is 2.2 yards per gram. So this is on the thinner side, but it falls into the range of the other alpacas that I've spun already. So I'm gonna add this to my collection of alpaca. And at this point, I need a break. I need a break from alpaca. I need a break from the feeling of the dirt and oil, whatever, on my fingers, of picking out VM. All I have left to spin of the alpaca are these 2 25-gram balls of the brown pin drafted roving from the alpaca named Love. And so I think the time has come to try out this baby camel that I won last year as part of the Stash Dashers Melly Knits Loop of Fortune. So I think this is what's coming next. So I'm gonna just split this 50 grams into 2 25-gram balls and spin them up as singles and 2 ply and see how it feels. Okay, this baby camel is spinning up beautifully, and I don't know if you can see this, but it has a little bit of a sheen. Like, do you see that? It's a little shiny. It is so beautiful. I am getting really excited about this. Holy cow, this is so soft and lovely. There's no VM, there's no gunk on my fingers. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to have this as a yarn to knit with and then experience what a pure baby camel yarn is like. This is 100% baby camel, and I got 99 yards, almost perfectly 2 yards per gram for this spin. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's super soft, and I cannot wait to knit this up. Today is Friday, July 24th, and my son woke me up extra early today. So that means I have pre-work time to spin, and I've been avoiding this alpaca, and today's the day. I'm doing it. I'm starting it at least. I need to take my rings off because they're gonna get snagged on the fiber. Okay, we're doing it. I couldn't help myself. I made myself a little spindle. I had this walnut dowel, just kind of laying around. I have another one right here. This is the remainder of the dowel that I used with my husband to make this spindle in January of 2025. And I was like, you know what? I can make myself a drop/supported spindle option. So let's see here. I used my whittling knife and some sandpaper and whittled down a tapered bit here, leaving this end. And then I used actually a pencil sharpener, the thicker end, to create a taper on this end, and the thinner end to create a taper on this end, and sanded everything down. And then I found in my toolbox this nut, and this plastic bit is supposed to be like a floor protector that you can screw onto the bottom of a cabinet. And then I created a little hole in the top, screwed in this little hook, and put in a little bit of wood glue to hold it in place. And now I have this little, very light, it's a very light spindle, but it is working. It is working to spin up some of this 18.5 micron merino. All of this to say that you don't need to spend a ton of money to have something to spin with. Oftentimes you can find things in your own home that you can combine. And I know that, like, for example, on the internet, when I first started looking into spinning, there was a recommendation to use like a dowel and a CD, for instance, even to create a drop spindle. So you can get creative with all sorts of things in your home. And this is just what I did today. Hello, good morning. It's Monday, July 27th in the morning for me, East Coast time. And I just finished plying the last 50 grams of my alpaca for my alpaca sweater spun. Now, I know today is not part of Tour de Fleece, but since I finished spinning my singles during Tour de Fleece, I needed to ply them in order to know how much yarn I actually made during Tour de Fleece. I am very excited to find out how much yarn I actually spun up. By the way, this is an Amish style yarn slip. It's by Spindle Needlecraft. See here, tabletop yarn slip. I love it because it has these measurements on it. Pull it up. So I can measure how much yarn I spun up, and I can also take skeins of yarn and turn them into balls that I can knit from. All right. Final skein of Tour de Fleece is this beautiful alpaca, which, as I suspected, I spun at my usual comfortable 2 yards per gram approximately. So really I got 107 yards out of these 50 grams of alpaca, which comes out to 2.14 yards per gram. So I now have this additional beautiful chocolate brown alpaca. I think this is my most consistent yet. I'm really proud of it. All right, we have our final showcase of everything that I spun during this year's Tour de Fleece. And we have 2, 3, 4 skeins of alpaca, 2 pure brown, 1 oatmeal, 1 mixed, 1 skein of 100% baby camel, and 1 skein of 100% Swaledale for my grade study. First, let me give you the numbers. This set of 6 skeins totals 489 yards and 248 grams. So it is almost, just about all of them were in the range of 2 yards per gram. The total comes out to about 2 yards per gram as well. So that is my default spinning weight, even with the Swaledale, which was 100% spun on my drop spindle. Now I'm going to set this aside a moment, pull out these 2 spindles. So these are 18.5 micron merino wool from the Breed Study Pack that I bought. And no, I didn't finish, but I did actually spin some merino as well. So I'm not going to count this in my totals. I could weigh what remains of the merino and get a sense of the amount of weight of merino that I've already spun, but I prefer to wait until I have finished skeins. So this is also part of my spin. Thank you so much for joining me today in my creative journey of Tour de Fleece 2026. I hope you enjoyed and learned maybe something new about some fibers, about spinning them, and I look forward to hearing your comments, reading your comments, hearing your thoughts about everything that I talked about in this video. If you think that the little bits that I was experiencing in the alpaca were alpaca dandruff, for instance. And I look forward to having you join me on my next creative adventure.